welcome Kelly Luxunder into our studio this morning to talk to us a little bit about the volunteer programs that go on here at Green Spring. Especially some of you new people who've just moved in might be very interested in this program. So welcome, Kelly.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I have a couple things to cover this morning. With the volunteer program, I think you kind of touched on it. It's a large program. There's a lot going on, a lot of ways to get involved. So I'll get into a few exciting opportunities that we have available right now. But I also want to cover a couple larger things that we have going on. This past weekend, a few residents participated in the Alzheimer's Walk that was in Reston Town Center, so it was the Northern Virginia Alzheimer's Walk. And we had 17 residents with us that came on the bus. We got there, we were just talking about how hot it is. It was probably one of the hotter weekends we've had in a while. It was 90 degrees. We all got there, gathered together, had a beautiful rally talking about this disease, and then we took a 1-mile walk in this heat in the afternoon, I'll tell you, at 2 o'clock, best time. But we all went, we had a great time, and that was not necessarily volunteer related, but the office was involved and there's people from Garden Ridge, and it was just a nice event to have. So I just wanted to highlight that. Every now and then you might see opportunities to do things like that through myself or others on campus. So that was one highlight. Another thing we have coming up is a program you may have heard something about. It's called the Grand Involve program. And now this is a program not started here at Green Spring specifically. It is actually I think it might be considered a nonprofit, but it's an outside organization, and the goal of it is to get senior adults into Title I classrooms in elementary schools. And so what that program does is we have older adults, becoming mentors with students or assisting in classrooms where the teachers just have their hands full. So at Green Spring, we have a great group where we go to the school Crestwood Elementary. So you may have heard something about that, and we're going to be kicking that off this coming month. So I have a few good people ready to do it again. We have some of the same volunteers that have been doing it and love doing this. So this is one of our most special programs, because we get to go and not only get to volunteer our time, but make an impact on our community. So it's in Fairfax County. It's right here. It's just right down the street. So that's really great. We're going to kick that off soon. If you are interested in that, it's not too late if you want to get involved. Just give me a call. We can talk more about it. It's not something I can share too much detail now. But
so how do they get hold of you, Kelly?
So call me. The easiest way is probably to leave me a message. You probably see me running out and about. I swear I'm not dodging calls. I like to be out. So give me a call. My phone number is 703-923-3154, and I will return your call. So just give me a call and we can set up a time to make sure I'm in my office.
Right.
So then other opportunities, we always have a need for things in Garden Ridge. Garden Ridge seems to be a big hub for where we can use volunteer hands. And I think with the volunteer program at Green Spring, there's so much going on that you might even not consider volunteering. Like volunteering on the independent living side, you're leading a group, or you're helping with an activity, you're ushering for a show. Those are all volunteer opportunities that might not feel like volunteer because you're doing something you're passionate about. But also in Garden Ridge, we have these specific needs that can be a scheduled type real support. So I know a big hot thing that I'm really calling for people who want to help is our salon in Garden Ridge, our beauty salon. They are in desperate need of people to help wheel people from their rooms in their wheelchairs or however, and escort them down to the salon and then escort them back. So I think in the past staff was able to do that, but at this current time the staff is not able to physically do that job, so we're asking for volunteers. The good thing about this, well, good and bad, this is such a need that really anytime Monday through Friday that you have a couple hours to give, doesn't have to be a scheduled time. Maybe you come on a Monday this time and you feel like coming on Friday for a couple hours. You can just show up and help them wherever they need it, because it's a desperate need. But if you are interested in that, talk to me first. We'll make sure you're set up and make sure if there's anything you need to know about transporting somebody, there's going to be some training involved there, but it's minimal and they would really appreciate your help, and that's a big thing available now. I do have another escorting type need in Garden Ridge. On Sunday afternoons, they do have a church service in the meeting room in Garden Ridge, and I believe that takes place at about 2 o'clock. And they are in need of people around 1:30 that can help transport people down. So that's an every Sunday commitment you can have, or I can only make 2 Sundays. That's okay, we can work it out. but it is an every Sunday in the afternoon if you want to just spend a little extra time, get people to their, to the church service. That's very important. We want to make sure people can do that.
And it's a very nice church service. I've been over there several times.
Oh, really? Okay, great. See, more the reason. You can stay and enjoy it yourself, and then get those people back to their room. So that's a big need also. So if you feel you can spare a few hours, please reach out to me, like I said, and we can get that started. A couple other exciting opportunities I have. The intermissions program. Now, I don't know if you know much about it, but it is our in-house creative arts therapy program. That's an everyday kind of program that you can enroll yourself in. It's located in Village Square in Forest View. It is at a charge, but it's a beautiful program, and it's to help promote cognition and socialization, and it's a full day program. So they need volunteers kind of as extra set of hands sometimes. The groups can be between like 10 and 15 residents. So either people helping to transport or just helping hand out things or with the crowd. And that opportunity is great because, again, it's Monday through Friday, and they have kind of specific shifts. You can do like a 10 to 1 or a 12 to 3, kind of whatever works for your schedule. Maybe you say, Tuesdays are for me, I'm going to do that. And the women, there's Amy and Rachel who are down there in intermissions, and they are wonderful. And so I think that's a fun opportunity if you're looking for something like that where you can really get engaged and help with their program. Another thing with intermissions, if you had any craft that you know how to do or play an instrument, something that they can use as an activity for their group, they would really appreciate that. Something different. Maybe you know how to make a painting or do greeting cards, something like that. They would really appreciate it. So again, reach out to me and we can talk more and connect you with the people down at intermissions. A couple more volunteer opportunities I want to talk about that I would consider more of like a flex opportunity, which are great for people who are just like, I know I want to do something, but I don't know when or how. Well, I have two specific kind of groups of people that I like to keep. One is called friendly visitors. So if you would be considered a person I would have on a list to say, yes, if somebody's in need of a visitor or somebody to walk them to the garden in Garden Ridge or wheel to the dining room, something like that, you would be a person on my list that if, say, I got somebody, a resident who I thought could use somebody, I would call on you and say, here, could you connect with this person and maybe visit them a few times a week or a few times a month, whatever works for you. So that one's flexible because it really is up to you whether you accept the job, you don't have to, or when you go and visit them, and you can really make a connection with that person and decide, I want to do this with them. I want to take them to the pond. I want to get them out of their rooms, which is a huge thing, So that's something that I would say flexible. If you want to do something, not sure what, that might be a good place to start. And especially you'll get to know Garden Ridge and get to know the staff, which is kind of an amazing thing. The last kind of list volunteer thing I would consider is something I'm building up called my count on crew. People I can count on. So sometimes there's these once in a blue volunteer opportunities that I just need people that I can count on and ask. I know we had a couple months ago, we had an event called Garden Ridge Goes to the Chapel, and it's a one-day thing. We needed hands. We needed people to help take our people from Garden Ridge to our chapel here in Independent Living, and I had a listing of people that I just reached out to. Instead of opening it to everybody, it's nice to have that group of people that can help.
Depend on.
And I want to say with that, it's the count on crew, as I'm calling it. You don't have to be totally, you don't have to be somebody it's not always a wheelchair opportunity, okay? So you don't have to be the most strapping person, or you don't have to be able to push someone in a wheelchair to be on that group. I have other opportunities that come up. Maybe it's an activity they're running in Garden Ridge and they need a few extra people to help, I don't know, keep the crowd going, or you're helping with an event they're doing. So that one's another, I would say flexible opportunity, but also it could be random. Who knows what I'll come up with or what we'll need. So those are my people that I would consider my count on crew. So think of that. And then I do have one more opportunity that I want to discuss that's it's a special opportunity, and we are looking for hospice volunteers. So Green Spring, we have our own hospice, which is wonderful. It's in-house, it's our staff, but volunteerism is a huge part of our hospice program. We need people who will be willing to volunteer their time to get matched up with a patient on hospice and spend, a few times a month visiting them. It could be 4, it could be 8 times a month visiting that person, and it's a range of what you would do for them. You're helping the family by being there when no one else is, or you're reading to them or helping them enjoy something that was a past in their life, maybe listening to music. So that's a huge thing, to be there with somebody at that time in their life.
Right.
And we're always looking for people who are willing to do that. And with the hospice volunteering, it is a little more intensive than some of the other opportunities I have, because you have to go through a specific training.
Right.
You got to do some different background checks, and there's a medical aspect to it as well. But don't let that scare you. It's a wonderful program, and I'm there to help you through the process. I have a few people actually right now that we're working through the process to get them set up as volunteers. And in hospice, you can also, if you're not comfortable with patient care, or maybe you aren't now, but you might be, you can be an office volunteer for hospice. So you go through the same training process as you would if you're a patient visit, but you would be helping us in the office, filing, or making different mailings or labeling, different general office things. But you would have that experience that you're ready if you want to transition into the patient care, or if you don't, stick to the office. We need that too. So that's kind of a big special opportunity as well if you're looking for that. So I know I mentioned a bunch of things, but if there's anything that maybe stuck out to you, I mentioned the salon volunteers, that we really need those escorts. That I would say is a real need. Or if you can help escort those people to the chapel service in Garden Ridge on Sundays, please reach out to me. Or if any of the other ones sounded interesting, but you're like, Kelly, I need a little more information, just give me a call, or even email me if that works for you. My email's kelly.lukeshander@erickson.com. But yeah, we could just talk and see. And sometimes there's even opportunities that aren't necessarily available or written down, but can happen. Maybe you have an idea for something, like I'd like to put together flower arrangements for the dining rooms in Garden Ridge. Just things that you can think of, how you want to give back and be a part of this community. We can explore that together, which is really amazing.
Sounds like a lot of volunteers.
There's a lot
needed.
and the good thing is, we have so many volunteers, and we already are doing so much that it's hard to even say we have these opportunities, because what aren't we doing? We really are a lively and caring community, which is great, but we always can use more. So if you can give a little bit more time, I'd really appreciate sitting down and we can set something up together. And yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds great. You're so busy.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. But I understand that the replacement is coming in for your job you left.
Yes, so Community Resources has been down a person for quite some time.
Right.
I think the end is near. I'm told that we'll have a new person starting on Monday.
Good.
In my position. So you'll see me around with a new face. Welcome him and introduce him. It's a man who will be here. We'll be probably spending most of our time together next week, and we'll be walking around town center. So if you see me with somebody new, just feel free to reach out and tell them a little bit about what you do, because that's the biggest thing about that job, I think, is connecting with people on the passions and the activities that you're involved in. So share it with him. Let's help him get to know us better,
Right.
And we can get to know him better. So I'm excited for that.
That's great.